today we're going to get into 3 reasons why forged wheels make sense for your Overland rig. We're going to go over some technical items and some non-technical items. First and foremost, let me introduce you into the vehicles that we're going to be using today. We have my 2012 Toyota Sequoia on Titan 7 forged TAK1 wheels, and we have my 2009 GX470 on cast Black Rhino wheels. Now they both serve the same purpose. They're both on 35s. One wheel's a 17, one wheel's an 18. GX470 is kind of the beater, for lack of a better term. Yes, the beater Lexus. And then the Sequoia is the family hauler. It's the get it around town. They can both go off-road, they can both do overlanding, but one has a cast heavier wheel setup and one has a lighter forged wheel setup. Here's some more details on both of the cars. This is my 2012 Toyota Sequoia. It's got an Eibach Pro Kit lift kit in the front, JBA upper control arms, and the rig looks like an absolute unit. But right now, it's just kind of our family hauler. It's not an off-road beast. This is the rig with the lighter wheel and tire setup. Then we go over to my 2009 GX470. And if you've been watching the channel for a while, you know this thing has been everywhere. I've taken it into Sand Hollow, I've taken it to Alabama Hills, we've been all over Washington and Idaho with it. It's got a very similar setup to the Toyota Sequoia. Eibach lift kit up front, JBA upper control arms, JW off-road bolt-on sliders. The Sequoia's got weld-on sliders, some awnings and some Overland bits, but really not much. Now let's get into the first reason why you might want a forged wheel on your Overland setup compared to a cast wheel. This is the Titan 7 TAK1. Fits perfectly on the Toyota Sequoia, as you can see, 5x150 lug pattern. The first reason is forged is stronger, plain and simple. Stronger is better. And the way they manufacture this wheel compared to this wheel is a forged wheel takes a bunch of metal and it puts it into a mold, and then there's pressure and heat applied to the metal. It makes the waves and the pores of the metal more uniform. A cast wheel, you just pour the liquid metal into the mold, it becomes its shape, and then they do some final stuff to it, and then it pops out. Now there's nothing wrong with a cast wheel, it's just not as strong as a forged wheel. And so strength is the #1 reason why you want a forged wheel on your Overland rig. Now, I've never had a wheel break on me on the trail, but I have had some flats. And when you have a flat tire on your Overland rig, sometimes you gotta drive on the wheel to get off the trail, or sometimes you gotta park it on a rock, or sometimes when you're airing down, your tire will debead and you'll smack against something. Forged wheels just give you the peace of mind that your wheel is just that much stronger. The second reason why you want to go with a forged wheel and tire setup for your Overland rig is weight. There are many benefits to a lighter weight wheel and tire setup across the board. We're going to talk about 2 terms. It's going to be rotational inertia and unsprung weight. Rotational inertia, or rotational mass, is the mass of the device that is rotating. And the great way to think of rotational mass versus a rotational inertia is think of a bowling ball. If you have a 6-pound bowling ball, it's the same size as a 12-pound bowling ball, and you need to take that bowling ball and you need to get a bunch of pins knocked down, and it's very easy to throw the 6-pounder down the aisle, but as soon as it hits the pins, it doesn't really knock over all the pins. It kind of bounces off and goes into its own direction. But if you take a 12-pound bowling ball and you hold it in your hand, it takes a lot of force to throw that bowling ball down the aisle, and as soon as it gets going, it just knocks over all the pins.
To claim it, a strike to claim it, and he got it! Who do you think you are? I am!
The same can be said about your wheels and tires. Now, a heavier wheel and tire setup takes a lot of force to get going and a lot of force to stop. And there are factors that play here, where the weight is positioned, if it's positioned in the middle of the wheel versus on the outside of the wheel, the load rating of your tire, the weight of your tire, all that plays into weight. It takes less force to get a lighter weight wheel and tire moving, and it takes less force to stop it than it does for something heavier weight to get moving and to stop. I've cooked the brakes on the GX470 a few times, just overlanding, not a track car. Going down trails.
All the way down. Perfect.
Going up trails, going over rocks, going down rocks, slipping. A real heavy setup really just wears on the brakes a lot faster. This brings us to unsprung weight. The vehicle weight is carried by the springs of the car, and the unsprung weight is all the weight underneath the spring of the car. It makes a lot of sense if you think about it that way. For every time the wheel moves up and travels over a bump, the suspension of the car has to absorb that force and drive it back down. And so the lighter this package is, the less work everything has to do above it. And the heavier the wheel and the more force that wheel is putting on all those components, the more those components want to wear out. And third and finally, we're going to get into maintenance. So let's say this setup here weighs hypothetically 85 pounds, just this corner. If this shock and if this wheel and tire is going up over a bump, the shock needs to push 85 pounds of force back down on the wheel to push it back down into place, right? The layman terms is, if this is exerting 85 pounds of force up, 85 pounds of force need to be exerted down. But everything has a shelf life, and nothing's gonna last forever on these rigs. You have things like bushings in your upper control arms, you have shocks, you have springs, you have bushings in your lower control arms. All those things are doing their job to keep the wheel in line when you go over obstacles, and they have to exert force back down on the wheel to keep it straight. Eventually, the wheel weight can overpower those items. Our friends at Titan 7 really helped us out with this rig, but there's a reason why we chose Titan 7. Forged wheels tend to be very expensive. I'm not going to beat around the bush there, but Titan 7 makes very affordable wheels. You can get a set of these wheels for under the same amount of money as you could get for some cast wheels. Now, all the things I've said in this video are just general claims. There are some forged wheel setups like 3-piece or race wheels that can be a little bit heavier than a 1-piece cast wheel. Now, if you think of other components like bolts or hubs or whatever, they can go up there. But if you're comparing a 1-piece cast to a 1-piece forged is going to give you exponential benefits across the board. And to prove really how much this matters, my wife and I took the wheels off each rig and weighed them. So let's cut to that footage. In order to tell you guys the exact weight difference between the two tires, I have my lovely wife here, and we're gonna pull the tire off the GX470. Yes, it requires 2 people if you don't want to break anything.
So heavy.
Okay, we got the tire off, and now we're gonna do this super scientific method of weighing this tire. So we're gonna get my weight. That's right, I'm a big boy. 234.4. And now we're gonna pick up this tire, and I'm gonna get back on the scale, and then Emily's gonna record my weight.
334. 334.
334.
334.
Wheel and tire for the GX470 is 100 pounds. So that's 100 pounds per corner, plus another 100 pounds in the back. So that's 500 pounds that the rig has to carry. And I'm winded. And now we'll zip off this one and see how much this weighs. It already feels much lighter.
It does?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
All right, here we go. Before I hop on the scale, any guesses as to how much this wheel and tire is gonna weigh? I'm guessing less than 100. Babe, what about you?
I feel like it's gonna be like at least 10 pounds lighter.
10 pounds lighter?
My first popped in my head like 70, but that's too much.
Okay, well, she's gonna
At least 10 pounds.
She's gonna go for 70. So here we go. Ready, folks?
320, 319.
319?
Yeah, 318, 319, 318. 334, 15 pounds, yeah.
15 pounds lighter per corner. So 15 pounds times 4, 60 pounds. So you're saving 60 pounds of weight by going overall, by going to a lighter wheel and tire setup. And that's a big deal. Now that you've seen the reasons and the benefits of why you might want to run a forged wheel and tire setup on your rig, I want to give a big shout out to Titan 7 for the TAK1s on our Toyota Sequoia. Really, it makes the world of difference on this giant beast of a vehicle. I'm so glad we are saving some weight and adding some strength under the weight of this rig. If you're interested, hit them up. Titan 7 is a great brand. They actually make forged wheels and tires at a very good price. We're also running 35-inch Nitto Recon grapplers on each corner of this rig. 35 17s on this one and 35 18s on the GX470. So same tire, different wheel, different diameter, and a world of difference. So big shout out to Titan 7. Thanks so much for watching. If you have questions on anything about these vehicles or you don't agree with anything I said, go ahead and drop a comment. These are just basic principles. We didn't get into anything too scientific today, but really just general rules of thumb. If you're in the market for a set of wheels and tires, highly recommend Titan 7 and a great set of Recon grapplers, and you will be good to go. I'm signing off here. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let us know if you like these videos, because we'll keep making them for you.
Thanks for watching Driving Line. If you guys like this video, consider subscribing to our channel so you'll never miss any of the content we create here. Whether you're into trucks, Jeeps, imports, domestic vehicles, or anything in between, we are here to fuel your passion. So hit that subscribe button and we'll see you guys next time.